Hello there, Mr. Evans here with a short video on the public sector. So at the moment we are here, private sector we have looked at. These are all private sector organisations that we've already done videos on. This is a video on the public sector. So the public sector are organisations that are owned by the government and funded by taxpayers for the purpose of providing a service. These public sector organisations may be organisations that are administered centrally, the NHS, police, army. Okay, so they are all controlled by central government, or local government may control them. Schools used to be in the category of local government, and that's becoming more centralised with academies. Social care, bin collection, those services tend to be organised on a local government basis. Okay, so city councils, county councils, and so on. That's the public sector. I believe it accounts for about 40% of the UK's GDP, approximately. I'm not 100% sure on that figure, but I seem to remember reading that somewhere. But one thing that is for certain is that government policy has been about moving previously publicly owned organisations into the private sector, and this has been government policy since about the 1980s, really, when Thatcher started the process of privatising a number of industries. So an example of an industry that was previously owned by the government and is now firmly in the private sector is telecommunications. BT was the government-owned monopoly. The industry has been privatised and opened up to competition. We are seeing a lot more of this happening in recent years. For example, the Royal Mail was privatised in recent years. So why is it that government policy has been to reduce the size of the public sector and increase the size of the private sector? Well, privatisation frees up government funds for investment elsewhere. Organisations that were previously run by the government require a lot of financing, and if the government can get those organisations off their hands, then they don't need to put the money in. And for the last several years, the government's priority has been reducing the size of its deficit, ensuring that the government is spending less money so that it doesn't have to borrow so much every year. That's kind of an economic reason for doing so. An ideological reason for moving organisations into the private sector is that it creates the profit motive, and some people believe that the profit motive will incentivise businesses to operate more efficiently. If the owners of business are incentivised by being able to take home profits, basically profit is a reflection of the fact that people are prepared to buy your service. If you have the profit motive, in other words, you keep money that people give to you, and you can reward yourself in terms of higher share prices, higher dividend payments every year, then you are incentivised to make that organisation run extremely efficiently. You want to meet customer needs, you want to control your costs, you want to maximise revenue. You maximise revenue by ensuring that your product is one that customers want to buy. So therefore, by privatising, we create a better service for customers. The criticism of the public sector is that if you think about the incentive of a public sector organisation? Well, it knows it's going to receive a certain amount of funding from the government regardless to a certain extent of how it performs. Then why would they bother to satisfy their customer needs? Whereas a private business, if it doesn't meet customer needs, is essentially going to go out of business and the owner won't have any money. So all of those are reasons that the government has been privatising the public sector in recent years. I hope you found that helpful.